Alright, got 2012 Chrysler 200. We're doing a driver's side window regulator. They like to come apart on the plastic tips in order to destroy themselves and the glass itself falls down. So we're replacing it. We have two T20s here, one T20 here. It's behind this little cover. You can take a little pick like this, get back behind it and pop it out. You take out the three T20s that hold the door panel in place. Pop off this trim cover right here. There are no screws down on the bottom, so you don't have to worry about that. None over here on the side either. What you do is you get a tool like this for popping the trim. Get underneath, you can find a little opening, and then pop it off all the way around. Lift up, clear the button right here. Once you pull it back, you'll be able to gain access to the cable that you see back here. I'll show you in a second. Use a pair of needle nose pliers to pinch the connector, and you'll be able to take off the cable. For the handle release. Little clips right here, you just squeeze them in, that'll pop out. And disconnect all your items to your switch. Door panel itself can be put away. Alright, so with this stuff here, this whole panel needs to come off and out because the regulator itself is back behind it. Start by taking off these Torx bits for the motor, disconnect the motor, motor comes off. Once you do that though, the glass will fall down if it's not already broken to the point where it falls down on itself. You will have to lift it back up enough, you'll disconnect it, roll the window all the way up and secure it so that it stays in place. Then this whole panel assembly will be able to come off, which is nothing but pins all the way around. So you want to disconnect all your connectors to be able to get it to the point where this can come off without anything being attached. So that's what we're going to do now. Little trim tool also helps take out the little holders that hold the harness in place. This has a little open hole right here. And if I remember right, I don't take this off right here. I will basically just flip it over. I will remove the regulator while this is still attached, because I don't like having to go way back in here to disconnect this little connector that's all up there and then get it back. It's real fun too. Disconnect one up here for your mirror. Speaker will come out too, which is T20s. Speaker side. Alright, let's see, we have, these are going to be T30s. Yep. T30 for the window motor bolts. Alright, that one's just going to stay put. Alright, then we got more T30s right here to hold the regulator on itself. I'm going to take out 2 of them and get the other 2 once it's flipped over. Alright, at this point here, you can reach your hand back here where the speaker was, lift up on the glass. You'll be able to then see push pins. If you've ever done one like this before, you'll be able to see the push pins where in the glass has a hole. You push the pin right here that goes through the glass, and then the regulator itself can come off from it. Use a screwdriver, push it in. Pry down a little bit. Be careful. Try not to break the glass. That's a big oopsie. So all you're trying to do is push the clip in far enough that it gets past the piece on the regulator, like that. Then the glass can separate from the regulator. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Which port for that is going to be right here. A little piece of sticky tape. That is free. Push the glass all the way up. You can use a couple of screwdrivers. Careful when you wedge it. You don't want to break the glass then too. Wedge it on each corner so it doesn't come down. You can use duct tape or tape, whatever, which gets kind of messy. There are little suction cups that you can put on here that will hold it up in place. Mine are so old that they don't do that anymore. Alright, so now you can finish taking out the bottom bolts of the regulator. Alright, this module's got to come out. I forgot about that. The module is in the way of the other two bolts, or the other single bolt that is on the other side of the regulator on. Three T20s, and there it is right there. One more T30. And then a regulator itself is loose. Now, still going to take off all these tins around here, because once we do that, we'll be able to slide this apparatus out to be able to pull the regulator itself out all the way. I believe I'm going to be able to get the regulator in and out without removing this completely. Once all the bolts are out, there are lineup pins. It's also going to have a little bit of sticky tape on the back that helps seals it from water intruding into the system. You want your wire harness. This. That's going to be the only fun part, is you can disconnect your which one to call from right there. If I'm not mistaken, I can get this in and out without having to do anything. Just like that. And this is the stuff that typically breaks. The little ball peen part that goes into right here, right around. So that's typically what happens. And when it does, it jams itself inside the gear and it's just game over. New one. Make sure you got the orientation correct. Can be like yay. Yep, sits here like this. See the little push pins right there? When the glass goes down, it's going to go past this and it's going to pop into place, because the holes for the glass just go right past it and then push down in. So we're going to orientate it like this. Make sure you do clip off your zip tie here so that the gear itself, this gear will pop out of this area. So when you go back in, just be careful. But that's why that zip tie is there, so that during transit, during packing, whatever, it's not loose and floating around and mess up your brand new regulator. So we're going to go back in, a little scissor action. See, there's the old piece to the old one. Alright, and now I'm going to bolt up the regulator for each one of the spots that are over here. take it all the way out, but like I said, I don't like doing so. There's also a line-up post on the back of it. Let's see, where we at? There. I'm going to put this on just a little bit so that it stays in spot. The next one, to the other side. Now we tighten everything up. So the only thing that's going to be different with this than removing it the first time is now that the regulator is actually installed, it gets back behind this panel on the door panel itself. So you'll kind of have to bottom it out and lift up and in. Once the regulator was removed the first time, it could just pull itself straight out. So that's the only difference when having to install it. Kind of get tucked back up under there, and then it will line up. There are pins on each side that help you line it up so that the bolt holes stay there, plus the assembly itself doesn't come off. So line them up and then start putting some of your tins in. Alright, now I don't tighten this up until I make sure I get the glass in all the way, and the same way with the motor. Leave it free, you will be able to input the glass into the trough, into where the clip is, much easier if the motor is not installed, because that way it gives you some movement to where it goes. It's just going to slide right into the trough, which you got it on both sides. It will be stiff to put it in. So what you also may do, get a screwdriver, hold at the bottom, push down on the glass, and cinch into place. Also find it easier to push in the tab when putting the glass in, because the same thing. If the glass will then slide over that little tab easier. Real fun part of all this crap. Do both of them at the same time, so that way the glass is not bound up as well. Alright, might need to put the motor in, so that it gives me the resistance I need to hold it in place. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Put the motor in. Sometimes it works that way, sometimes it doesn't. The motor is a gear, so you have to line up the gears, push the window up and down just a little bit until everything lines up and pops into place. Now use your screwdriver, push in the tab, and push down on the glass. About the only really fun part of this stupid thing. One side almost in. Once the tabs get pushed in, so then they pop. Just like that. Once you get the tabs past the glass piece, they'll pop in real easy. So that's it, windows installed. Now we're going to put everything all back together, put your tens up. Instead of really stupid. See, it's a side angle. that little tab piece right here has to be pushed in order to clear the glass, because that's what it looks like. The glass is going to go inside this trough, and then this pops into place. That's what holds the glass itself to the regulator. Now we're going to put all the 10s and T25s back in place. Module back in. All your clips go back into place. Put your little inspection cover back on. Make sure the harness is up and out of the way. Like that. Your speaker. Spot right here for the wiring harness for the speaker, so just make sure get it in that trough, put it back together, otherwise you're going to cut your speaker installing, and then yeah, no sound. Alright, now put all our harnesses back in, all the connectors, everything goes in there, pretty much all one way, not too much you can mess up on that part. There, that's the harness. Push all your little trim clip pieces back in, put them in the door channel so that way when the door panel itself goes on, the actual wires don't get clipped or mushed or anything like that when going back together. You cause yourself a electrical problem. that. Alright. Door panel back on. It's the same way. All this is going to do is just going to go in between the clips and clip into place, and then there's a slide lock that holds this in there. That's it. That. Make sure your door lock gets back into the correct orifice. There's also a trough right here. The back piece of the trim panel can be slide right over. Slides right in that trough. Make sure your panels are all lined up. And pop it back in place. Then put your 2 screws in, make sure your door handle works, put everything back together, and turn the key on, give it a try. That's basically it. Any questions or comments? Please feel free to let me know.